All right, welcome to episode number 10 of On the King's Dime. It is Monday, the 19th of November. It is the day after we have just beaten the Breakers 100-87 in round 6. We are going to go through a victory against the Breakers in round 6, and then we're going to preview the round 7 and 8 clashes against Melbourne and Perth. So some top of the table clashes coming up. But first, we shall plug where we are on YouTube, on the King's Dime, and you can also queue us up on your favorite RSS feed podcast, because the podcasts are a little bit data heavy because they're YouTube. So yeah, we're just going to have to stick with that for a little bit, but it's good to hear that everyone's out there listening and giving us feedback. Like, share and subscribe. Get us out there, tell your friends, and get us trending. Also on the Kings, Aussies taking over the NBA.
Aussies taking over the NBA, buddy.
That is also our NBA podcast. If you're interested in the NBA and you follow along and you want to follow along with the Aussies, we are doing comprehensive wraps. We're doing over-unders. We're going through nearly every game we can go through, given a lot of stuff on Aussies in the NBA. So if you're into the NBA, then like that, go and have a look at that. That's pretty good. But first things first, the game yesterday was a great game.
It was a great game. You were lucky enough to get to it live.
Yeah, it was good.
Unfortunately had a birthday party, but caught up straight away afterwards, which was good to watch. Man, they played some good b-ball.
Yeah, definitely.
They really did. And it was a completely different team to what we've seen for the first 7 rounds. None of this high weave bullshit.
There was a little bit.
Not like extends. They seem to be cutting a lot more, a lot of back cutting, a lot of setting proper screens, a lot of setting hard screens, a lot of like post handoffs.
Yeah.
Bogut working low in the post, handing off with a run through with that was either Adnam or Newley. I mean, I think Adnam's ready to run his own team, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
With you. That dude is very good.
Yeah, it's a good backup to have for Lish, who...
Crazy. Such an efficient player.
Of course, Lish was out due to injuring his jaw in a collision with Dane Penau.
I would injure my jaw too in a collision with that man.
That mountain, Dane Penau.
The man mountain of Dane Penau.
Yeah, so without him, he, of course, is one of our best three-point shooters this year as well. He's shooting at 50% after we were a little bit worried going into the season about his three-point shooting and his shooting in general. He has been turning it on. So I was a little bit worried in the lead-up to this game. But yeah, Wild Kyle Adnam on his birthday, I think it was yesterday too, he slotted in there nicely in that shooting guard position.
He did. And one of the things with this team as well is they're just not going to hoop up three-pointers all day and hope for the best. They're definitely trying to set proper plays, a lot of handoffs and getting down through the guts, a lot of floaters this game, especially from Randle.
Yeah,
that were just amazing. Some of them were just he has Kyrie style handles. Like he is so good with that basketball. But
at times, like his handles are almost too good. Like sometimes he'll dribble, like cross up so far that he crosses up like past a screen.
Yeah,
everyone kind of has to reset. I think it's really helped having Bogut, who's such a good screen setter, and even Kickett, really experienced screen setter. I think it's helped center him a little bit more. He's working harder with the ball as well, and it's kind of the ball movement style that we're trying to play is starting to come together a little bit more. It's still a little bit.
It was a little bit, and I think where we lost our way was that kind of weave, but so much more back cutting in this game. I can't say enough. And again, it's so efficient because they're such a long, big unit. You know, if you're setting a screen on the low post and you're getting a nice cut, Bogut can see above most of the players, and so can Kickett. Like, these guys are all 6'10".
Yeah.
Like, it's a big unit. And Newley, as soon as he's on track for the hoop, is pretty hard to stop.
Yeah.
And Randle in his ISO dribbling plays, just get out of his way, which they did well in this game. The floor was a lot better spaced.
Yeah.
Even Ware spaced the floor better, and Ware had a much more efficient game. And that's all he needs to do.
Yeah.
Set screens early, and they set the screens so it broke down the full court press very early on. And I think the breakers just went away. This isn't going to work.
Yeah.
And that's just a much better way to play. Is it if teams are really going to go to that dirty game, then just two big men in before the half court, set the screens, get the guard up the floor, and set the play from there. And that was taken out pretty much early on. But we shot really efficiently. We played well as a unit. Got some deng action. Deng putting in some good minutes. Pinot doing some good minutes. Kicker shooting efficiently, and it was just an all-round performance. We just shot really well, lights out.
So Bogut, obviously to start with, like Bogut.
Oh, some of the dimes. Jeez.
Yeah, 6 assists, I think it was.
Seven
assists. So he had 17 points, 8 of 15 from the field, 53% from the field. He didn't really get to the line. The other thing too was they weren't fouling a lot. Like we didn't get to the line very much, but the interior defense was absolutely terrible as well.
They were it was at will at a lot of the time.
That was basically why we weren't getting to the line, because you would have looked at that free throw disparity and seen, oh, that's a bit weird. Those free throws are a little bit
low, but no, it was just.
But yeah, he had a double. So he had 10 boards, 7 assists, 4 turnovers. But you're always going to get high turnovers because he's a high risk, high reward passer.
Yeah.
2 steals, 5 blocks. Again, just block city. I mean, he's averaging 4 assists per game, 11 points a game, shooting 58%, 12 rebounds a game, which by far it's like 4 rebounds more
above
than
anyone else. And blocked, I think he's averaging about 3 blocks, but it's probably about 3.4 or something like that.
Yeah, 3.3 now, which leads by, I think the closest is Daniel Johnson. I think he's like 1.9, like just under 2 blocks a game. But Bogut's like just like halfway.
Yeah,
3.5 blocks a game. Like it's crazy, man, crazy numbers. Again. He played well and he anchored the team too. Like he came out early, took a couple of shots.
And he didn't need to play the 35 minutes to do that. That's the thing as well. You play him efficiently for 30 minutes. You get some good minutes out of Pinot, kick it as a backup center. Even Deng. Like you've got big guys on the floor. And, if you get really good efficient minutes and he doesn't look too tired, he's going to play a lot better.
Yeah. So Randle, we'll go on to Randle now. He played 35 minutes. 24 points, 11 from 21 from the field, 52% from the field, 1 from 4 from 3. He didn't shoot that well from 3, but we didn't put that many up. We only had 6 from 13 from 3. He had 5 boards, 5 assists, played pretty well.
Played very well. Just some of the floaters and just the ability to handle and get past and ankle break and, he's got Kyrie style handles. There's no doubt about it. If he was I reckon if he was probably 6'2", there would be nothing stopping him being in the NBA.
Yeah.
It's purely his height in this day and age. Yeah. Like he is good. He's a world-class player, and he definitely showed that yesterday. Great to watch, fun to watch as well. Some of the stuff he put out, some of the plays he, obviously with Bogut setting some fantastic down screens and getting in
even
behind.
Like side-to-side screens.
Yeah.
He'd cross up one way and then Bogut's smart enough and experienced enough that he'd turn back the other way, screen again, he'd get into the lane and put up a floater. They
didn't seem to collapse the lane at all.
Nah.
Which you need to do against Randle. And the breakers didn't seem to collapse the lane. Even for Kicker. Kicker was putting up some really good floaters as well. With Randle, you have to collapse the lane. Is that you go almost to a zone and collapse when he's got the ball.
Yeah.
And then press out as soon as he passes. Because that's the only way to really defend him.
Yeah, really.
His handles are so good. He can blow by everyone, and he'll get to the net.
Yeah, he'll get to the basket. He got an and one, I think, in the first quarter.
Yeah,
where I was sitting sort of directly behind the basket, and you can see he put it up, and it was just going straight up and hit the glass and went in, like spun in. That was just a masters in English. Like it was crazy. His handles and his finishing. I think if you give him space and let him get out in transition, which they did as well. They let us get into transition a fair bit.
A lot of Newley, like you got to shut Newley down pretty early because he just goes. He's a freight train, and you can get to the basket very, very quickly with little to no effort.
Yeah, he started out. He had that dunk. There was that baseline cut.
Yeah,
and Bogut just found him sort of with the inside pass. It was a little bit scratchy pass, but Newley got there. He took it and pretty much was wide open with the dunk. That was good. He had 14 points, 6 of 8 from the field, shooting 75%. 5 boards, 3 assists, and then Adnam was the other guy, along with Bogut and Randle, who had a great game as well. Definitely. He had 14 points, 6 of 9 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3. You know, he was shooting.
He's
really
he's a
from
good
three.
shooter, and he was getting into good spaces. And it seemed to be they were actually getting to their spots early enough to not weave, but actually to be able to spot up shoot and step into it.
It felt like they did the weave a few times, like probably about 5 or 6 times, where they ran it properly. But the side to side action and actually screening people was getting guys open. Like it was making New Zealand really play up close and opening up that spot, you know, at the foul line. And then, you know, you saw David Ware get to that foul line and shoot jumpers, shoot a couple of floaters, kick it, got there, and then Randle was getting to the paint, you know, pretty easily as well.
Yeah, I think that Ware played a hell of a lot better this game. Definitely played more of that role player role and getting to the right spaces and screening well and staying in, you know, the half court until the guard had actually passed to make sure that, you know, this full court press bullshit wouldn't actually. I hate full court press. Bowen was good. Bowen looked more aggressive on the boards. Yeah, that's one thing I saw. Using his size to be more aggressive on the boards.
He has to, I think, because our other guards are undersized. So
exactly.
Any lineups he plays in, he's going to have to rebound.
As soon as when they moved him to the 2, I think we had Newley, Bogut, Ware, and Bowen on the field with Adnam or Randle. That was a good lineup.
Yep.
Because the length and the size, you could just ball it all day, especially against other undersized guards. But yeah, good to see him grabbing some boards.
He had a couple of good steals. There was one off, I think it was an inbound.
Yeah. Hanging around for the steal.
He's so long, man. You see him live and you can just tell how long he is and quick. He's pretty quick. Like, he's got good feet as well. I think if you watched him this season, you'd probably think there's a good player in there, but it's not quite there yet.
No, I think probably what will happen is we'll see him in the NBA draft, maybe a late second round pick and a stash in Europe to develop.
Yeah. Or
a G League. I mean, the G League, the next year, I think they're bringing the pathway system in the G League where you can actually stay in the G League as a career player and earn, you know, $125,000 US a year.
That's pretty good.
That's not bad. I think the minimum contract will be $50,000 US, which is a livable wage in the States.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's obviously pathways because I think they are worried about losing guys to out here, which potentially could.
Yeah, and Europe as well. They're losing guys to Europe as well. Yeah. We've had a couple of guys go to the US and then go to Europe, basically. So I wonder if they'll start putting the feelers out around the world and start saying, we'll partner with you guys and we'll send more guys out.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously Bowen's a great pickup. He fits the team perfectly because we need that oversized guard forward who can rebound and play at the 2 and handle the ball and create his own shot. Like he's
got good handles for a big guy as well.
Yeah. So on to, I think that's about it. And Tommy Wilson got some minutes, which is good to see him. And then Deng Akuth, obviously, he got 48 seconds of garbage time, which is good. Good to see him.
But look, Deng, that hoop, man, that
that slam was
dunk,
massive. It was awesome.
It's great, but it's good vision by Randle. And there was a couple of those today. There was better cohesion between Randle and Bogut.
Yeah,
definitely in that game. And you could see it on the field. They were, you know, laughing and just, you know, clapping and all that kind of stuff. So that's good to see rather than them chewing each other's ears off, which doesn't get the team anywhere.
Yeah, it gets a little bit like that, especially when you watch them live. You can see them barking at each other, but they're both high level guys. You know what I mean? Like, it's not you're not gonna worry too much about that. It's because they're super competitive guys. I feel like the team still doesn't really respond to adversity all that well.
No, when they're down, it's a little bit hard to get back up.
Yeah,
but when they're on flow, and they were definitely on flow. It almost feeds back that, and it's more positive, and then they're just going to get on a roll and win.
So overall, we shot 62% from the field. It was pretty good. 46% from 3. We have 58 points in the paint.
Yeah, that's bad.
Crazy, man.
That is terrible defense.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's over half our points. We had 14 to 3 fast break points. 21 assists on 44 made baskets. That's pretty good. And then we had 8 blocks, and Adnam got a block. How good was that? Who did he block? I think it was Abercrombie.
Yeah.
Shot like this weak jumper, and he was just in the perfect spot, just took it away. It was great. It was down our end too, like right in our corner. It was good. So in the first quarter, we started a bit sloppy, like a little bit sloppy. Yeah, but that's always
the way. Randle gets a little bit of time to warm up. Bogut's a little bit cold. They do tend to start a little bit sloppily. Some silly turnovers. Some shots not falling, but again, it's how they heat up and get a bit better. But yeah, I think once I started seeing the back cutting, I knew that this game was on.
Well, like watching the game, like the way this, like it felt real low energy. Like the other games we played, like recently in our run, I think we're on a 3-game unbeaten streak. They all felt like we come out super hard, we come out hard on the defense, and we run. We make sure to start fast and work hard. In this game, it felt a bit low energy. Like the first play broke down, and then they just tossed it into Bogut, and he went up and he got fouled, and he went to the line. Shot 1 of 2, I think, from the line. And you could tell that our plays were just not really happening. Like it just wasn't happening at all. And I think we called a timeout pretty early on, I think with 5 minutes to go or something. And then we came out of that timeout
a bit more energized.
Yeah.
But Gaze must have been flexing his muscles.
No, well, I couldn't tell. I haven't rewatched all of the game.
Okay.
Was there anything in the timeouts or anything?
Nothing I saw. Strong. Phoenix. Strong boys.
I was trying to take a photo of him like doing strong like that. I was going to send it to you because I know you love that. Yeah, so it was 8-4 to New Zealand, and then we kind of went on a bit of a run. Did you see that dunk from Long, the alley-oop?
Oh, yeah.
And he did that like full Hulk up celebration. And you could see Bogut give him like a, yeah, right, mate. Sure,
cool story. 5 blocks later.
Yeah. And then he went on to have like an absolute beast of a game. Bogut just absolutely destroyed him, which was great. So obviously, we were scoring pretty well. We shot 9 of 16, so 56% in the first quarter, which was pretty good. New Zealand shot 40% and, 24-21. Was feeling good. Like it was a decent rhythm to the game. We're always still just letting in points away from not necessarily like playing badly, but a team just coming back into a game, just by getting on a roll.
Well, I was surprised that they actually brought Deng in a kind of pivotal point where New Zealand had a mini run. We were about 13 up, and they brought Deng, gave him a bit of faith, and he kind of performed as well. Defended well, didn't give away any fouls or silly fouls. So that's nice to see because I think these guys are going to be important post this season. Obviously, we want to win this year, but they're going to be an important role player in the next season, the season after that. And we need to be able to give them some strong minutes, not just trash time. But, Deng Deng's is a good athlete. And he really showed that he's quick. He can stand in right positions. He can back cut properly. And he puts down the big moments.
He's a high flyer. He can throw down as well. Obviously, with the ball in his hand, like he's not going to get the ball in his hand all that much.
No.
But with the ball in his hand, in motion, going to the hoop, I think he's going to be a good finisher. As he develops and as he plays along. But the way we stagger our minutes, it's the same kind of that stagger. Like bring Dane Pernell out with 2 minutes to go in the first for Bogut.
Yeah.
I just feel like Gaze just plays it like that. Like he's got a list. And he's like, right, this is what's happening. Everyone knows what's happening. You come out here. You come out here.
He's not reacting to the moment rather than, he's just like, all right, this is when you come out and do your thing. Whereas really, he should be...
so maybe that's how he's coaching the team. That's how he's built the roster, built the rotation. He's got that list of guys and he always brings Deng out at this time. And he always, subs in Kickett for this guy. I think it's Kickett for Ware usually.
Yeah.
Maybe later on down the track, we're 8 games in, maybe he starts to change that up a little bit, but I can't see him wanting to do that with the way the team looks like it's built.
They've got some winning form behind them as well, so he's obviously going to get a bit of confidence in the fact he's doing the right thing, but whether that's going to work in the long run. You've got a behemoth in Bogut, which no other team has, a ball handler who's 7 foot, that can see the floor, that can assist, that can block, that can score. He's scoring quite well actually lately.
So he seems to put up a shot too when things break down as well.
Yeah. Did you see that? I think at about 4 minutes left, he put up that jump shot from about 20.
Yeah, he held it. It was a live dribble too. He could have dribbled all the way up and dunked it basically, but he just stood there and took the jumper, and he even gave it a slight little Michael Jackson. What's going on? Michael Jordan, little Michael Jordan. There was one where it broke down and he shot like a really long range. Well, I think his foot was on the line. I got it in my phone. I took a video of it.
Yeah.
Pretty sure his foot was on the line because I looked at the stats. There's no stats for him taking
a 3-point
three.
shot. Yeah.
Did he take one in preseason?
He took one a couple of games ago.
I'm sure he's taken one, but it said that
I don't
he
think
hasn't
he's hit
taken
one
it.
yet in the regular
No,
season.
I'm pretty sure he hit one, but it might have been in preseason.
Okay.
So yeah, that first quarter we went in obviously at 24-21. Felt comfortable. We started the second quarter, a little bit sloppy. We came out strong. But in the second quarter, obviously that was where we took the game away. We blew out the
Started
lead.
shooting very, very well.
Yeah, 13-point lead. Shot 11 from 11. So we essentially, I think the game was tied 29-29 with 5 minutes 52 left in the second. There was a timeout. Basically, they tied the game up, called a timeout at 5:50. I don't know. Did he say anything in that timeout? Was there any?
Not that I could see.
No.
But yeah, you go strong.
Yeah.
He sends and boys. He was boys.
Lads.
Boys. Always boys.
Yeah.
Fellas. Boys. Fellas.
So we came out of that timeout, basically shot 11 from 11 from the field and took the game away from New Zealand and made the lead 13 by halftime. So we had Bogut hook, Ware layup, Randle with a Jimmy pull up, Newells with that scoop and one. Then we had an Adnam driving scoop, Newley driving layup, Randle driving layup, Randle pull up Jimbo, Randle with a 3. So he was feeling it. You could feel like in the stadium,
he was on.
He was just feeling it. It's good to see him, heat check, keep his shot going. Then the Newell's driving layup, and then there was a bunch of fouls at the end of the quarter. And then kicks with that sweet sort of like broken play. I think they called a timeout with about 14 seconds left for like the last shot.
Yeah, they did.
And
that was Randle that hit that.
no, it was kick it. I'm pretty sure it was kick it.
Yeah.
Like danced across the lane and hit this really raspy sort of left-handed hook.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
And it just bobbled around, then dropped in.
Yeah.
That looked like another play that broke down. Like you call a timeout. Here's what I'm going to draw up, boys.
Yeah,
and then that broke down again. And it ends up usually with either Bogut or kick it, who then just creates something out of nothing.
Yeah.
Which, man, what are you going to do? It's good, that you've got
basketball.
a player
You're going to have ISO.
that can do that. So we ended up shooting 76% in the quarter, 12 or 14 from 2, 1 from 3. We didn't need to shoot threes. We're basically just getting to the hoop at will. Second half, we played pretty well. Shot 67% from field in the third quarter. 3 or 4 from 3 in the third too. I think Adnam had 2 threes.
Yeah.
And then I think Kickett had the other 3.
Yeah, hit it up. Hit it up.
And then, we closed out. How did you feel in that second half?
I felt the game was won probably 5 minutes into the second half, to be honest with you. You know how sometimes you feel like, ooh, they could come back?
Yeah.
I just didn't feel like, I think that they were New Zealand were giving way too many points in the paint. Bogut was kind of getting there at will. Randle was hot. Adnam was playing well. And even when the backup minutes were happening, they were holding them off.
Yeah, that's how I felt, like they were fending them off.
Yeah.
I still, like I said, feel like they've got a run of 10 or 15 in them, Sydney. Like they just go to sleep. He doesn't bring the starters back, or they just get lazy.
Yeah, but I think they've been good the last couple of games in minimising that hold of like, now we're getting in front kind of thing.
Yeah, and they really did. Like it felt like they were really working hard to make sure they were doing the same things to get buckets, basically, that they were doing in that game. Like they didn't go to any like crazy kick it threes. They didn't really go to any low percentage plays. They just kept doing those fundamentals, going to the hoop. And the breakers played pretty poorly. They defended pretty poorly. And then obviously in the fourth, we should talk about that spectacular 360, or was a 180.
It was a 180 one-handed yam by Mr.
Nice,
Deng Deng.
Fantastic. My dunk of the night. There was, I think, 4 dunks. I think Bogut had 2. Bowen had that breakaway.
Newley had one. The first one.
Then, Newley baseline, so 5. A lot of dunks.
But the Deng Deng.
Yeah, I think
there was a hoop he went up to beforehand and they didn't quite get it, but he kind of fumbled it around and it went in. And then I think I got called for Sean Long actually tipped that one in, but it was like Deng and Pinot there just fumbling in it and eventually went in. But that 360 pass from Randle was pinpoint though. Like
for sure.
Beautiful to watch.
Like Wesley losing him on the baseline.
Yeah.
cut all the way
That's the whole thing.
baseline.
They have not cut for the first 6 rounds. And all of a sudden, they start to get a lot more open shots if you got your 2 wings cutting. And, in the NBL, I don't think they know what to do with them because they're so long. You can just lob it in and, you've obviously got a bit of a highlight play there.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a bit more. I think it was like play of the round.
Play of the round.
Yeah.
Be cool.
Yeah. We'll go and check the app.
We'll go check the app.
Maybe it will be. But I think Randle had a similar one in the second quarter, I think it was, where they sort of they went into that weave and then on a down screen, he just ran basic cut just straight to the hoop and he copped the same thing, like straight into the lane, wide open. They're the kind of the plays we need to be trying to set up all the time. Like we need to be smart enough to take advantage of that. But yeah, it felt like obviously that Newley baseline jam and Bowen leaking out for that jam and then Deng Deng for that reverse 180 slam. Feels like we're starting to understand and move and see plays as well.
Yeah.
Because a couple of times there was like Randle not picking up his dribble, seeing a guy cut, claps in the lane as he runs through it and like back out again. And it's like if you had seen that was like wide open, but obviously
it'll take time. I think, the one thing that we don't really have over the NBA is we don't have 82 games for these guys to know each other inside and out. They did a bit of preseason. They're obviously training together, but game time is crucial. And they're playing more minutes in the NBA. And I think we're always comparing to the best league on earth.
Does it still feel like 10 minutes is not enough time?
Yeah, I don't like FIBA rules. I really don't.
If
the 3-point line should be further back and the court should be wider, the floor should be more spread. It just feels like it gets a bit crunchy and bunchy. And then, you get called for fouls where just every limb is flying up in the air and you don't actually know who's hitting who.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would be
I thought
nice.
the refs were all right in this game, but
they did let the flow. I mean, I'm happy not only to have, 3 or 4, 6 free throws because I think it lets the flow of the game go. And, some games that just break down with 6 minutes to go in the quarter and both teams are in the bonus. It's like, this is just a game of attrition. Who gets lucky? Or this is a quarter of attrition. Who gets lucky on the call? So Bogut got called for that unsportsmanlike foul.
Oh, yeah, that was... I think you just forget, man. You forget that because we even copped that on a Monday night where they tell you, like, giving away stupid fouls like that. They tell you, like, no, it's unsportsmanlike.
You watch the NBA and they do it all the time. And it's just like, really?
It's just like normal foul in the NBA. Like, why is this unsportsmanlike?
It's not even unsportsman. It's
tactical foul.
Tactical foul. That's it. It's a tactical foul.
But in this one, it's unsportsmanlike, mate. This is Australia, mate. Unsportsmanlike.
Australia.
We cleaned it up towards the end and then held them off for that victory. Good victory.
Great victory.
Hopefully 3 in a row we've got now.
Continues the run. We've got a big game looking ahead of us. It's preparing for
2 games, man.
Reigning champions of Melbourne, who are currently sitting second on the ladder.
Yeah.
Highest scoring team, but also the worst points against. And last time we met, it was trash. It was a trash affair.
Awful. That was an awful game. That was a trash game.
That was just like NBL.
It was weird. It was like both teams were really, really nervous and, didn't get into a flow. It was like both teams were, didn't want to give up, look stupid, didn't want to give up their advantage at all. It was a real arm wrestle. So I wonder, is Goulding back? I think he's back.
Yes.
I saw him whipping
he's been
towel.
playing, but he's been coming off the bench. He's not been playing full minutes.
Yeah,
look, you know what? He's a guy that you just got to, he's going to score 15 points, but we've got to really collapse the paint. Don't let McCarron get through. Don't let the guys get through that are going to drive. Bogut, protect the rim. And we've got to be more efficient at scoring. I can tell you now, if you played exactly the way you played against New Zealand, you're going to beat Melbourne.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. Like the cutting, the flow of play, the screening, that's what wins games. Not weaving across in traffic and then, all right, just ISO Randle.
So I feel like they're going to go at Bogut again because they kind of did that in that first Melbourne
that's
game.
fine. And they're going to go at Bogut and, they're going to be chippy and they're going to try, get it down, get him to foul out early and get him in trouble. But you know what? Throw Dane Pinot in there early. I think he's getting a lot better at protecting. He's not going to be an offensive option, but we haven't got Bogut in that team for an offensive option. He just happens to be scoring lately. Just lock down the paint. Get your body in the way. Make sure you're grabbing the boards. Make sure that you're helping out on the offensive boards, and you're going to do really well out of that.
Yeah. So our defense, which is the best points given up defense in the league, I think we've only given up 693. versus their best offense, basically. So, and then it's our second worst offense versus their defense, which is the worst. So I don't know. Make of that what you will, because that other game was terrible. It was sloppy game.
Hard.
The stats, though, I looked up the stats. They're quite even. Melbourne 92.5 points per game, whereas we're 90.3. Same assists, same rebounds. They obviously offensive rebound 13 a game. We're only 10.6. We don't really crash the glass. That's one thing they did against us in that game.
Yeah,
that kind of hurt us a little bit.
Glass kind of well, but again, it's spacing. It's spacing on the floor.
That's where I feel like they've done work on that, because that secondary guy is helping Bogut out to grab boards rather than trying to grab boards as well. I'm trying to get in here and do stuff.
I think Bowen's coming in a lot more aggressively and trying to. And who cares if you foul them? You know, as long as you're getting in the way and they're thinking, shit, is someone coming over my shoulder to grab this board? It puts them under more pressure, and it leads to more mistakes and potentially more boards, because they're fumbling. They're getting nervous that, but if you're just standing there, Bogut, it goes right instead of left, and Bogut's on the left. Yeah,
basically, the other guy's not rebounding. I felt like we're actually, to start this game, tried to do that more, like tried to use his body properly. And it resulted in us grabbing a few boards early and getting settled. I feel like we're probably kick it, and then Newley are the three main guys that are going to rebound properly. Obviously, when Bogut's off the floor, you're going to get Panau as the main rebounder, basically. And that's all right for him, but that's where your combinations start to get a bit all over the place. Like you got Bowen rebounding as a guard, and then you don't really have anyone else to rebound. Like that's what we're going to have to really look at, because they're going to crash the glass, because they did that last time. They did that in the preseason games, and it kind of hurt us a little bit. Obviously, they have 6.9 steals per game, so they're quite handsy, up in your face, looking to get those steals. Blocks are even, 5 a game. We're actually shooting better from the field than them, so 47%. They're only 44% from the field, and we're shooting better from 3 as well, 40% from 36. But obviously, we're the lowest usage in the team.
We don't take threes. That's not our game. Our game is to get into the paint, back down, and cut and use the big men length. We've got a couple of good shooters that are starting to heat up in Lish and Adnam, and hopefully Bowen can get in the action as well, because he can shoot the ball. But it's, again, you got to run plays for Bowen. He's not a make my own shot 3-pointer. You've got to actually screen down or get him around to shoot, or get him on the corner. But I think that's where Ware needs to stack up a bit better. Is if he's open, he needs to be able to knock it down that corner 50% of the time. Yeah. It's different if it's a contested, but if it's a corner 3, it needs to be
David Ware,
David Ware.
And then obviously it's a single game week too, so long time before that game. I think it's Saturday afternoon, 2:50. Nice week break, which I think suits this team. I think this team plays better out of a week.
Yeah, when they
I don't think they're a rolling team at all.
No, not at all. I think they get better, debrief, watch some videos, make some plays. It definitely looks like they break down a bit on that second game without really knowing what to do.
Yeah. So obviously we play Perth on a Thursday. That's another big game. They're obviously the two teams that are above us. We can basically end Melbourne's streak. I think they're on a 4-game streak or 5-game streak. And then Perth, I think, is on a 7-game streak. Yeah. So depending on whether Perth wins this week.
We've
got the chance to break both of their streaks, which will be really good. I think the Perth game's on the 6th on the Thursday. It's a school night, so I'll be able to go to that game. It's at home. First time we played Perth this season too, so that'll be interesting to see.
It's always good to play the leaders and to test out where you're at on the board. And I think that our style will come up against Perth. I mean, Bryson Cotton's been playing very well. And
did you see that crazy one at the end of that game? That was crazy.
4-point play.
The game was over. He contested that shot, gave away a 3. That was crazy. Looking at the stats for that Perth game, though, they also crashed the glass, and they're also 6.3 steals a game. Handsy as well, so...
Get a bit handsy, a bit pickpockety.
But we're shooting better than them. They only shoot the 3 ball at 33%, and they're a low turnover team. So we're 13.3 turnovers, they're 10.8. So... both games, man. I think this is a real good test for us. 2 games, high energy, high profile, but a lot of good stakes for us to play for because I think we can go 7-3, I think. And, break Melbourne streak and then hand Perth like a stamp, we're here to play and really sort of start elbowing in at the top of the table.
Yes, definitely sounds good.
And then, we've got a lot of games. I think we've got New Zealand away, then Perth away, and then Hawks away, like this huge away trip.
Big, that'll be tough.
And then Cairns away.
Yeah, that's a lot of distance to cover.
And then we come back to Melbourne at home right before Christmas.
It's on the 23rd, I think. Yeah, so we've got a big break. I think if they can pull out 2 of those games on the road, that'd be good. I mean, it's always tough, but going from Perth to New Zealand's almost 8 hours.
Yeah, man. That's the longest road distance to travel from New Zealand to Perth, obviously.
Yeah, it's a 6 hour time difference as well.
Yeah.
That's just nuts.
It's
throws your body out. But hopefully they can do it, and I'm looking forward to the Melbourne game.
Yeah, this weekend. Are we gonna watch it?
We are gonna watch it. We're gonna watch it live.
Nice.
Cool. Well, that is a wrap. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. We're going to be putting out some exclusive content for YouTube soon. So make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. And we shall see you guys next week.
Yep. Take it easy, everyone.
Peace.